to have you joining me this morning. And today we're going to look at some real ancient wisdom. And I'm not using that lightly. Like, this is fascinating getting ready for today and just saying there's some really deep wisdom in what we're gonna be sharing today. So the context of the story is this: as creation, Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, and Adam and Eve, this idea that we develop over time this beautiful sense of autonomy, this heavenly own, as Emanuel Swedenborg talked about it. It's part of heaven, and it's also God wants us to feel it as our own, and acknowledging that it's from him. So it's kind of this beautiful both and of understanding the gift and being able to feel like the gift is ours, which is beautiful place to be. So that starts to develop in our lives, and then inevitably there's these pitfalls in these journeys of life. That is the way it goes. The graph, as is often said, does not always go up and to the right. And and Eve succumbs to the temptation. She eats of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. In other words, that idea we can figure it all out all by ourselves. And then we've been looking at God's reaction to that. And today we're looking at God's reaction to the snake, that piece that represents really that base, our basest of animal nature, of humanity. Yeah, sort of our lowest level, us at our lowest selves might be another way to say that. And that's where we're picking this up here. This is Genesis 3 verse 15. And this is God talking to the snake. And I will put hostility between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. So in other words, God's gonna protect, he's gonna protect her. He's there, look, you are not gonna win the day, so to speak. He will trample you on the head, and you will wound him on the heel. And that bit of you will wound him on the heel was fascinating, really jumped out at me today. Folks, life is, as we continue to develop and grow, right? There's this inevitable wounding to life. There's this inevitable part where things turn around and bite us. And they bite us in one of two ways. Sometimes it's something in ourselves, right? And I'm thinking people who struggle with addiction, or any number of different things, struggle with anger or dismissiveness or control issues. Like, we all have those things, right? And those can literally turn around and bite us. This is for a little levity today. One author I was reading last night, he had a great marriage counseling question. He said, where he starts out with marriage counseling is, instead of letting each partner recite what the other partner is doing wrong, he has them each start with talking about the area where they are hard to live with. They each have to answer, "This is why I'm hard to live with," which made me laugh, right? Because that's saying, hey, you know what? Sometimes our worst selves can turn around and bite us, and we all know that, right? At least I hope I hope we all do. And then there's this other part too, folks, that sometimes it's not of our choice. Sometimes it's nothing we did wrong. Sometimes life just has these things that rear up and bite us, and there's no rhyme to it. There's no reason to it. Sometimes we see it coming, sometimes we don't. That is life. And it's significant. Again, this is why I was really struck today just by the ancient wisdom here. The one thing that we know, we may not know when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. We can absolutely 100% guarantee that it will happen. That is simply how life goes. And I know, for me, like, I can lean towards pathological optimism pretty quickly, and yet there's part of me as I've gotten older that has just been able to go, like, yeah, and life's just going to have really trying moments. And it's a little like, we do a lot of weddings and baptisms here at New Church Live, and a lot of counseling things. And it's not that if somebody gets into counseling, or somebody gets married, or somebody gets their baby baptized, that it's all smooth sailing after that. No, it's just equipping you for those moments when life will somehow bite us, will somehow inflict a wound on us. It's not about avoiding the wound, it's about acknowledging it, finding meaning in it. How do we move forward with it? Those are all the big questions. And where do we end up? Well, there's two places, two authors I love, and I reference these people all the time because they're just so good. One is Father Henri Nouwen, who said, we need to acknowledge that we are all wounded healers. I love that phrase. We're all wounded healers. Nobody has it figured out and as sort of has the secret formula, and they're going to tell other people this is exactly how it works. I know that the counselors I've worked with over the years, both as peers and individually, the ones who really get that are the most effective. They kind of like, yeah, I'm a wounded healer. I don't have it all figured out. There's something about that that's very true. And then the other one, folks, and this is from Victor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, a book that should be required reading for all of humanity. He's a Holocaust survivor, and he's not a pessimistic guy. He actually his book is filled with a lot of hope, and despite all that he went through. And he said, what you develop, and here I think again of this woundedness, again, we all carry this sacred wound, this woundedness, and his was egregious, right? I mean, the Holocaust is about as egregious as you can get. He said, what we develop is, quote, a tragic optimism. I love that, folks, a tragic optimism, because it's acknowledging that life will have tragedy in it. It just will. I know very, very few lives that have not had that somewhere in there. And at the same time, we can hold on to this optimism. We can acknowledge the facts candidly as they are, and at the same time embed our lives in unwavering hope. And the unwavering hope, as I say a lot, hope is, this is from Miroslav Volf, hope is love stretching into the future. That idea of a hope that is love stretching into the future. I think that's really beautiful. So folks, that's what we're going to talk. I mean, that's what I think we should hold this weekend. Just remember about the big hurt. You have it. I have it. That person who is driving you absolutely crazy right now, who is just really, really hard for you to work with at this moment, they have a big hurt in there somewhere too. And there's a way in which, when we find that, it's so hard to describe. There's a way in which we find that life becomes much, much more rich. Life does not become a purity project. It does not become a way to fix all things and to fix all people for all time. It becomes this way of experiencing life where there is this soup, there is this miasma, there is this stuff that we sort our way through, knowing that we're all going to somehow have something bite us at some point in time, that there is excuse me, that wound excuse me, that sacred wound that we all carry, and that should not build a sense of pessimism. I think at its very best, when we learn to hold it the right way, what does it build? It builds a sense of compassion. Compassion, so much where God speaks to us. So that's the thought, folks, as we go into the weekend. Sorry for going a little long there, but we will go ahead and move right into our little meditation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ring the bell, we'll say a little prayer, do a little blessing, and then we'll say hi to folks on social media. So with that, friends, let's all get a big breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Me. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and bring you home and bring you peace. Amen. All right, friends. So let's take a look at our little social media thing. And again, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. I know for me, just a little public service announcement that sure was fun. So our was very blessed yesterday after spending a number of days in quarantine, and I got to meet our newest granddaughter, which sure was fun. So I hope you have something of. I know not everybody is a new granddaughter, obviously, but I certainly hope you have something of real fun that you're looking forward to as you head into this weekend. All right. Oh, I'm having a little computer glitchy things here. So just hold on one sec. All right, there we go. So just hold on one sec, folks, and I'll give you a cheery hello. Those are, and I can, again, anytime you leave a social media comment, I do try to get to it at some point in time during the day. All right. Linda writes, good morning, and good morning to you, Linda. Teresa shares a good morning with all our friends, and it is so true. Great to have all of you here. Martha, great to see you joining us today, and I hope you're doing well out there in Michigan. Teresa writes, this is where I'm hard to live with. Yep. What a great, I mean, it's such a great line, Teresa, right? Like just starting out with like, yep, this is where I'm hard to live with. And it was pretty funny. One little silly example, you see a great picture of someone up there with like this husband with great hair and anyhow, and she was they were talking about like how he has great hair, but he don't want anybody to touch it, and how annoying that is. So it just was funny hearing all those little foibles. Marianne writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Marianne. Linda, right now, one is a walk in the park. It is so true. And that's where we could I think, just smile at the humanity of it. Hope is love stretching into the future. There's hope for this future of this troubled world. And that one, Gene, that quote, Miroslav Volf's amazing. He's a theology professor at Yale, and highly recommend if you like deep theology, like really, really deep stuff. He's the guy to read. And when I remember reading that, hope is love stretching in the future, it just makes so much sense, right? Because it moves us beyond objective hope. Like I hope to win the lottery, I hope for this, hope for that, into hope that's much more grounded in God, which I find absolutely fascinating. Thank you for this message. Luminary, how sweet. See you tonight. Yes, we have a little dinner tonight at the New Church Live office, which will be way fun. And Sherry, great to see you joining us as well. All right, dear friends. Well, listen, God bless. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. And actually, I won't see you on Monday. Monday is Memorial Day. So we're going to take a day off, but I will see you again on Tuesday. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.